Shaving, trimming, tight. Chopping it. I'm so excited.
What's up? It's me, Joe, and I want to make my own TV show. It didn't just start out of nowhere. I had a 7-year career as a full-time travel YouTuber, and then I got booked on 2 seasons of a Netflix show, The World's Most Amazing Vacation Rentals. But while on set, I realized my favorite part was not being on camera alone. It was actually thinking about the segments and the story, and I wanted to do more. And I actually signed up for a Master's of Filmmaking, and the first day that I walked into the program, the owner of the school said, "You're a showrunner." And I didn't even know what it meant. It's basically the person who's in charge of the entire show, but they need to be really good at business and creative. And right now I'm on the brink of submitting my final project, which is the true pilot for my TV show concept, Translated, a show where we try to solve very universal issues with untranslatable wisdom. And I've actually pitched this concept to several production houses, and they all said no because they didn't see how a language show could be visuals. So I knew I had to roll up my sleeves and do it myself, which is why I enrolled in my Master's of Filmmaking, and I also really needed a deadline. And honey, that deadline is creeping up. And so today I want to take you behind the scenes of what it actually looks like. I don't have $1 million TV show kind of a budget, which means I have to do almost everything myself. When you say you want to make your own TV show, it gets ugly before it gets pretty. So once I understood that I wanted to make a show about language learning and travel, I was like, all right, cool, let me try to scrape together a concept pilot.
The first episode that I filmed 3 years ago before I fully knew what the show was, which was good because at least I started without perfection, but was very hard to execute in the edit because I had to fill stuff in, like I didn't have all the footage that I needed.
And you can even get access to that and help me continue to make the show better, because I basically got a bunch of survey results of people saying that they loved the concept pilot. And I'm like, damn, now I can take this feedback and pre-produce something from scratch. And this is what I just did. So I spent 3 weeks pre-producing, running around Antwerp on the phone in Dutch, getting locations. I was able to secure about 10 different scenes. Then I flew in my crew. I had to put together a budget. Again, it's all coming out of JoJo's pocket, but I'm paying everybody their day rates, putting them in hotels, feeding us, etc., and loving every single second of it. Had release forms, checklists, had some ideation. That all happened. I was so alive on those 2 shoot days, and now comes the not so beautiful part, but the critical part, the editing. I'm documenting it because I get more motivation when I film myself doing something, and editing is one of the hardest things, especially when you have 5.5 hours of footage that you're trying to chop down into 25 beautiful minutes. Let's get started.
Welcome to my office. This is my studio. I have built it with love, and this is where I sit. This is my edit bay. It's like a cockpit. This is like where the magic is happening. When I start editing, I put 60 minutes on the clock, and then I also start this, and this I keep going. As long as I'm sitting for the whole day, I will have this thing running. This is just to remind me to get up and pee. I have my little Mac trackpad, which is funny because I'm also using a mouse. So I edit here, and then I edit with quick keys, and then I edit with this. And I use Final Cut. I know, feels basic. I have this cheat sheet. I've been watching tutorials like it's my job. And so these are quick keys on Final Cut that I've customized or that already exist. And I've also made this ridiculous hand-drawn chart because I love a good hand-drawn moment. Shall I give you a tour of this project? We're working with 13 scenes. For every single scene, I do the first string out, which is all of the A-roll, all of the talking parts from the scene. By the way, we have 2 camera angles, so I had to learn how to do 2 cameras. And so if I'm like, ooh, I want to see my face, I have to press 2. And then the video goes, and I'm like, let me go back to him. So I created a system, and it goes like this. Every single scene I need to organize. So that's stage 1. I need to put in a string out, which is all of the talking. Then I need to put it in a draft where I'm cleaning up all of the gross footage, mistaken footage, whatever. Then I put it into assembly, which is like the selects, like my favorite bits. And then I'm doing today's phase, which is mastering. So trimming every single scene to like 3 to 4 minutes max. And then I put it in the last stage, which is the fine cut, which is where I'll get the picture lock, which is all of the talking points, exactly how I want them. And then I would have to get the like actual fine cut. And every single step I'm making new versions, so I can always go back if I cut too much, or if I like make a mistake and realize actually that part of the story doesn't work, I can go back to the previous version. Timer's up. See you in a bit. It's crazy. You have to cut enough, but you cannot forget the point. It is an art. Editing is writing with visuals. It's so crazy. I also have to do some math. If each of my scenes are 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I can afford a 28-minute episode. And when I did my pilot test, you guys said that you wanted it between 26 minutes and 30. Maybe I'll make this 28 minutes. Maybe I'll have to cut some scenes altogether, which would be so sad. She is shaving, trimming, ruthless elimination of the inessential. I'm so excited. It's coming together. And then my favorite part is when I get the music in there. Also, if anybody else is a video editor here, can you please comment below how fast does time go by when you're in the zone? Because holy shit, I look up and it's like midnight. I'm like, what just happened? I'm still in the first 5 minutes of this video. The hardest part, I think, is knowing that every scene must have a point, and the point must be to move the storyline. So even if I like things, I can't necessarily use them. But it's still pretty painful. You have to kill your darlings, as they say. I have to trim down a 16-minute scene to 2 minutes. How do you fucking do that? We have successfully done our first hour. Second cup of coffee, post-lunch droop. I'm struggling already. This chocolate scene is very, very long. So yeah, it's basically 12 minutes and I have to chop this down to 2. So pray for me. The hard part is that I really do believe everybody has a story and I want to tell longer stories. We're only 10 minutes into the next hour. But look at this sexy ass chocolate footage. Yummy. So the scene starts here playing with chocolate and then here we go. So he's showing me how it works and then I can watch 2x speed and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to put some classical music on this. And then look, I can swap between my angle and his angle. And these are actually happening in real time. But right now, today, and probably tomorrow too, until I can chop this down to like 40 minutes, it's like not the fun part. Right now, I'm just like, let me set my own expectations. If I can get to 1 hour today of footage, that would be a huge success. Another hour. You know what's real when I put my hair up and I've taken out my paper and pen. You have to schedule an hour and a half to be on location to get 50 minutes of tape, and then you gotta chop that down to 3 minutes. And the hard part too is that I need to leave space for voiceover in between, so the scenes really need to be tight. Oh, another torturous scene. Get that done, Joe. I'm starting to see how I can make this episode a book. So it'll start with the question, it'll end with the answer. Coming together. Editing is molding a ginormous block of marble. And I'm chiseling minute by minute. Chiseling. Chopping it. The alarm that shudders my bones and tells me to stand up before they disintegrate. Oh man. I'm gonna do Jeroen and Jeroen's scene. 24 minutes, that's a fatty. So we went on a boat, it was like so much fun, but very not fun to chop it down into 3 minutes. But this might be one of those like flagship scenes, so I might have to make some sacrifices. But you know what I am doing? Because it's my show and I'm not a streaming platform, I am putting all the things that I love that don't fit in the doc in a separate file called leftovers, and then I'll make a video with all the things that didn't make the cut, but I still feel like are worth talking about. So that's cool. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and stay tuned. You could tell it's been a long day because I've changed my hair 14 times, but what's really cool is after 4 hours and 13 minutes, I've finally got to a point where the timeline is coming together and I can show you. It's so exciting. What's really cool is that I've never actually worked with compound clips before. It's been a game changer. I've been working on this scene. This is the diamond cutting scene, which is a giant amount of stuff. You can see all of these cuts and then I turn it into one clip. So it becomes a compound clip, and then I copy this over to my main timeline, which is the assembly cut here. It's gonna go after the diamond burst. And then the only other scene that we're missing is the boat scene, I think, with Jeroen, which I just finished. But now every single one of my scenes is neatly in these chunks. And then if I'm like, oh, I actually don't wanna put a lot of this stuff in there, I just double click, and then I have the full scene here to chop and manipulate. And then whatever I edit here gets reflected back on the main timeline. Hell yeah, dude. What?
What? Oh my God, I got what I wanted. I said that I wanted to chop it all down today to 40 minutes. And look at that. There you have it, folks. It's all happening. Don't forget to click in the description box and sign up to my newsletter where you will get all the BTS, all the information, and pray for me because I'm gonna need it, y'all. This editing is rough. And I guess the moral of the story is if you sit your booty in the chair and do things for various hours at a time, you will hopefully create something. I'm so excited. It's coming together, it's coming together. I can finally start seeing the shape of this shit. The ruthless elimination of the inessential. And I said that I was gonna stop working. It's already 5 hours in. 6 p.m. I should probably go home so I don't fry to a crisp, but hell yes, I am making a show and I see all of the things that I've studied coming together. Like you want a show to have an arc, you want a show to have a journey, and it's okay, good thing I don't have a mic on. How annoying am I? This is delirious editing energy.